Hi, welcome back to Bowl of Nicole. If you're new here, it's great to meet you. If you've already been here, hi, welcome back. Also, one of the videos that I did, I mentioned that I was thankful, ding ding ding, for your comments, which I did not realize that there were so many more comments than I even saw because I did not get the notifications. So I thank you for your comment as well. On to another tutorial video. This one dedicated to Thanksgiving. So I went to the dollar store, walked up and down the aisles and tried to find a couple little things to put together for Thanksgiving decorations. This is what I came up with. This time I'm sticking to 2 because 4 at one time was kind of crazy. So these are the crafts that I came up with. So let's get started. So let's start with this lovely little turkey pen holder. So we're starting out with apple barrel red acrylic paint and folk art metallic antique copper. I'm using this basic command hook for the beak. Sometimes they have them at the Dollar Tree, sometimes they don't. They always have some sort of hanging hooks that you can use though. I flipped it upside down and I am painting the top red to be the little gobble gobble thing on the turkey. What is that called? I have no idea. And I'm going to use this spiced carrot orange color for the beak, and we'll go in with this Inca Gold metallic color to add shine to the beak later on. Make sure you paint the underside too. While we set that beak off to dry a little bit, let's pull over our pieces of foam paper. We have a couple of different colors. I'm going to stick with the more fall-y type looking colors and set aside the blue and the green. You can certainly use whichever colors you'd like. I just want to stick with these colors. Cutting them into strips of about 1.5 to 2 inches wide. Just cutting 3 strips out of each color here. And then what you're going to do is measure out where you want the pen to go and cut off the top of that one strip. Use that as a guide and cut all of these off. And then you create confetti. So to create a feather, fold it in half, cut on each side a curve, and then you have this feather shape. Fold that back up, and then you're going to cut triangle notches. Make sure they're angling toward the scissors, and that'll give you that nice feather shape. So now you're just going to compare that to the pen again to see where you wanted to glue that down. I left about 2 inches on the end of the pen, so that has enough room to sit in the cup without covering up the whole feather. And then I glued it on with hot glue gun. That's one down. When you're finished with those, you can go back to the beak. I'm using the metallic copper to paint around the little gobble gobble and give that a little bit more definition, as well as using the metallic gold color so we can give that beak a little more shine. Adding some more colors, we have Tuscan Red and melted chocolate. I'm going to use these to further accent the beak. But first I mixed the copper and the red together and painted that over to be able to match the shimmer a little bit more. Then I used the Tuscan Red to outline and accentuate, and I used the melted brown to create the beak slits. Then I grabbed some of these Googly Eyes. I think they're about the size of a dime or a nickel. Grab your mug. I use the handle for the back because it kind of does look like a turkey tail where it's angled up. I placed the beak on there to see where I wanted it to go and just used the command strip that came with the hook. Stuck that on there and then cut off the tab because we don't really need that anymore. I used the handle as a frame of reference to measure where I wanted to put the beak just to make sure that it was exactly on the other side. And then I used hot glue to reinforce the sides of the beak. Glued on those eyes. I'm using these just regular stones to fill up the cup in order to have something sturdy to stick the feathers in. So there you go. Can set this out and have everybody write what they're thankful for. Second thing I've made is this fall wreath. Technically this could be used for the whole fall season. If you wanted to add a little bit more Thanksgiving specific pizzazz, you can always add some wooden letters or something that spell out be thankful or something cute like that. So I started by unraveling and cutting strips of the pine needle roll so that they were a little more manageable. And to create the base of the wreath with the pine needles, you're just going to glue one end to this wooden ring and wrap all the way around. continue doing this until the whole wreath is full of pine needles. And please be careful with the glue. It is very hot. I've actually burnt my finger pretty bad and got a blister, so just please be careful. Make sure that all of the needles are neat and tidy as possible. And then I have these bushels of fall leaves and other assorted little pine cones and gourds or pears. I took all of those off of the bushel, used this new Shamrock green and black paint, mixed that up to paint these little gourds. I used a reference picture online to see what these gourds really looked like. Some of them are actually just plain white, but I wanted to give them a little bit more character and a realistic touch. And I have these yellow flame, khaki, and white paints, mixing those up to give another dimension to the gourds. For this little pumpkin-shaped gourd, I'm just running in all of the indentations with the green paint, patting that out with my finger to kind of blend that out, and then going back over that with the off-white, tannish yellow color on the parts of the gourd that are sticking out, and then just using the regular khaki color on the stem. We're going to create this bow with the burlap ribbon. Tying bows is a little bit tricky, but you kind of just have to work with them and stay patient until you get the shape that you want. I stuck that to the top of the wreath and fluffed out the bow. And to create the 2-point ribbon cut, you just fold the ribbon in half and cut it at an angle from top to bottom, and that will give you that clean looking cut. After that, I started to lay out all the leaves and the gourds and pine cones and whatnots just around the wreath to know where everything was going to go and how they were going to be spaced out. And to just make sure that I spaced them out enough so that there weren't any blank spaces open. And I used my trusty hot glue gun on that to glue every part down. And here's where you gotta be patient because you actually have to hold it down until the glue dries, or else it'll pop up because the pine needles push up on them and they won't stick down until the glue is totally dry or totally hardened. And you can keep playing around with the placement of things. Just make sure that there's not any wide spaces that will look awkward in the end. Once you're done gluing down all the different placements and all the different items, you can go back and rearrange the leaves and the bristles, gluing down leaves when necessary just to make sure everything looks balanced and ready to go. There you go. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you did. And comment below what your favorite Thanksgiving side dish is. Mine is definitely green bean casserole. I make videos every Thursday, so I'll see you next week. And don't forget to tweet on Twitter with the hashtag #BowlofQ so I can answer your questions. So that's all. I'll see you next week. Bye.